Linen, glass, metals and color, textures and layers of patterns, all drawing you in to sit with those who are gathering to break bread and enjoy good conversation with a heart full of gratitude. Today, we are talking tablescapes for the holidays or any time for that matter. So, meet you at the well-dressed table. I'm Lainey.
And I'm Laura Beth. And we are Steel Magnolias. The strength of steel
With the grace of a magnolia.
We are here to have uplifting conversations about life in the South.
And we've got plenty of room at our table. So pull up a chair.
Welcome to another episode where we get to discuss more fun Southern culture. And wanted to let listeners know we're hitting our 3-year anniversary this week, or this month, I guess.
It's this week, actually. Yeah. I looked it up.
Oh, is it?
It's
okay.
This week
Wow.
on Tuesday.
Wow. Well, we are nearly 150 episodes in, and we produce this show, me, Laura Beth speaking, and my sis here, just the two of us. But with the donations from listeners like you. And so I wanted to just let you know, if you didn't know, we are listener supported, meaning we have people that give to the podcast each month to help us make the show possible. And we have 3 different memberships available that have different perks that you get with them, including supporter exclusive Steel Magnolias podcast t-shirts.
That are so stinking cute.
Yes, they say peace be with y'all. And we also have a bonus monthly episode. And so for $5, $10, or $20 a month, I just wanted to invite you to join us as a supporter of the podcast. And I'll
especially if you're finding value in this content. It's worth it.
Yeah. Sometimes we forget to even ask. So I wanted to put that on the front end because a lot of times we forget to ask.
We get talking and we forget. But anyway.
So tablescapes. I wondered if this word even existed 10 or 20 years ago.
Yeah, I'm hearing it now, but I don't remember where that came, when that came about.
Right. So according to online definitions, it's simply a blanket term that combines your table's centerpiece and place settings.
Is that right? Okay.
Or the overall decoration of your table. I think most people know what we meant,
You know
but
why
I just
like
wanted to
this
make
word,
sure.
though? One of the reasons that I like this word is because to me, it kind of is like landscape.
It is. You have to plan
because
it.
you survey and you plan like where are the hills and the valleys. What do I need to make level? What all am I looking at here? What do I have to work with?
What do I have to work with? It might look different year to year, but most people have to look at what they have to work with.
That's right. And so in that sense, I actually like that they've pulled from like a landscape to a tablescape because we kind of have to do similar things.
Mm-hmm. Well, if I had to describe as a how-to in one word for tablescapes, my word would be layers.
I love it.
And
yes,
you can think of that from the tablecloth or the charger plate all the way up to the top of the tapered candle, for example, because there's going to be so many things in between those two that we're going to be talking about today.
And it opens up the door for tons of creativity.
It does.
I think, just like even actually like with fashion.
Yeah.
So often the most interesting outfits, you're like, is that one shirt or is that 2 shirts?
Yes.
Like, how did she do that? Do you know what I mean?
I didn't know you could put leopard with that. Wow. And it works.
Right.
Leopard and fur. Didn't know you could do that.
Those little gold earrings look so perfect with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where it is similar. I'm saying it's similar to landscaping. It's similar to fashion.
And everyone that didn't even know what tablescapes were when they started this episode is like, great, I have hives because I'm hosting Thanksgiving and I don't even know
we're gonna put you at ease.
Okay, so I did want to just say, though, we're going to try and touch on both Thanksgiving and Christmas, but there's a much wider variety in the direction of themes and colors for Christmas than for Thanksgiving.
Well,
for
I mean,
the
I
most
guess
part.
you could go in whatever direction you want, but yes, I agree. There's more of the
You're going to see on Thanksgiving, you're going to see the warms, the reds, the oranges, the yellows, browns.
everything you see in pumpkins and gourds and
Wheat and harvest.
Yeah.
Those
Whereas
are all the
Christmas,
same
people
color
go
palette.
blue, they go green,
Yeah.
they go purple, they go silver,
Plaid, polka dots. I mean,
Yeah.
tinsel, no tinsel. Yeah. There's a lot. So there's definitely more variety and personality, I think, that you can put into a Christmas or a December table.
And I hope that people will be having so much fun doing this that they're like, my next time I have my church group over, I'm doing this too. Instead of
like
just waiting
repeat
until
it. Yes,
the
that's a good idea.
holidays.
That's a good idea.
Well, like I said, first I think you got to start kind of survey the
Sure.
room, the
Good.
table, all of that. What kind of group is this? Are you a really casual group? Are you a more formal group? Just thinking through those kinds of things.
Yeah. What's the vibe you're wanting to set?
Yeah. Are you going to have a buffet?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to do family style where everybody's passing casseroles? Are
Right.
you having like a plated
Right.
situation? I mean, I don't know about all of, there's going to be the gamut of our listeners of different things that people do.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have as much room as I would like to have. You don't have as much room as you would like to
Gosh, I
have.
certainly don't. Yeah.
I mean, in the sense of spreading out. So but it's okay. Like, we're
Right.
still going to make it so enjoyable, but limitations are okay.
Oh, sure.
I mean, that's what
it
I wanted to
actually
say.
helps you get more creative.
That's right. I'm sure that, we could even glean from talking to somebody like Elizabeth Passarella, who's in a little bitty New York apartment.
Yes.
How do you do Thanksgiving in a situation like that?
Yes.
I cannot imagine.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's the first thing you have to do. Are we at one table? Are we at multiple tables?
And that's
Et cetera.
okay.
Yeah, just figuring all of that out.
Yeah. And I would even say don't let functionality be your first go-to. I'm speaking kind of to myself because a lot of times when people are having more people over to their house than they're used to, they just think, I just need it to work. I just need everyone to have a place to sit. I just need there to be, a path to the bathroom or whatever.
Yeah.
That's great, but it doesn't have to end there. It
That's
can
true.
also be pretty or fun or whatever additional vibe you want to come out. Does that make sense?
Totally. And I mean, in the sense of the table we're literally sitting at, it's an awkward situation in that there's people have to scoot in to be at the back. So I usually try to remember to say, go to the bathroom before you sit down.
Right.
Just because once you're in there.
And that's the kind of the case even for tables that don't look just like yours. A lot of times if there's more people packed in,
it's awkward to get up and get to the bathroom because now
Yeah.
4 people have to move.
Yeah.
Because it's so tight.
yeah.
So that's just something to think about.
It's funny while we're sitting here because we're just posing questions more than
Yeah, I
answers.
can't answer them for you, but thinking through that is your first step.
Yeah.
Thinking through what you already have is a step. If the budget was endless, this is easy. I just go to the store I like and buy a bunch of stuff. Well, I
Sure.
don't get to do that. Most people don't.
No, the table setting that you saw in the window display is wonderful. However, you have some pieces that you need to try and work with at your house, and then you can add in maybe some new things.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if there's something you really desire, hey, it's on your Christmas list, so you've got it for next
Sure.
year or
Yeah.
something. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I just,
Okay. Yeah.
thinking through what you already have, if you do have the potential to go to pick up something else to add to, great. If not, we're going to work with what we have.
Yeah, I like that.
Does
So-
everything have to match? That was just a question I wrote down.
Well, I used to would have said yes because I would have not had such an imagination that I've seen other people do now.
And I think some of the best tables, everything doesn't.
No.
It brings about, it's how it gets to be unique.
But it has some sort of order or rhythm
Like
to
a rhyme
it.
or reason.
Yes.
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 Just like a piece of art. Like it does need a a rhyme or a reason to it.
It doesn't look like a garage sale table of glasses that are all mismatched.
All different.
It
They're all green, even if they're not all the same.
Exactly.
Or something. Like there is a rhyme to it. But yeah, I love the creativity that can come about from that. I guess the next thing you got to think about is just, I started to say linens.
Yeah.
Like what?
Well, this is funny even because when I started the episode, I mentioned that I would describe this whole process as just layers.
Yes.
I have even seen people layer tablecloths. So let's start there.
Yes.
Because you could we're at a very long rectangular table. You could do a solid or any color, whatever. You could do a rectangular tablecloth here and then a square one
in the middle that has stripes on it, or that's a different color or something fun,
or sometimes even round tables. It can work to put a basic round tablecloth down and then you angle the square, and it's kind of
looks so cool,
making there be some more different definition to the table.
Same for sometimes somebody has linen tablecloth over the table, and now they want to bring in some paper, like a Hester and Cook runner, or something else that's not linen.
Right,
that's okay too. That's another way to bring in something fun.
So I would also put napkins in this category then.
Yes,
and there's almost as many ways as you could possibly think of to fold a napkin now. It used to just sit at the left side of your plate. That's not the case anymore.
People do all kinds of fun things with them. Shapes and placement. And
so traditionally you would fold it and put it to the left of your plate.
Or in the middle of the plate.
But now you can put it in the middle of the plate. You could make it a 3D triangle and put it on your plate. We saw in a store that we were in, we kind of liked this. They centered the napkin underneath the plate and had it slightly hanging draping down over into the lap almost of whoever's going to be sitting in that place. So
lots of different things you can do with that. And then there again, a rhyme or a reason, but I'm just throwing out a number. Let's say you have 8 people at your table and you only have 4 of the russet red napkin that you really love.
Yeah.
Maybe you have 4 that are, khaki colored or something.
Okay.
So you do every other person.
That's good. Yeah.
And you could even maybe tie them all with the same ribbon or something. So they look like they have more of a uniform look, or I don't know. There's lots of different things you could do,
and we didn't even mention napkin rings. I mean, there's so many ways.
Of fun napkin rings, or if you don't have napkin rings, you can use twine.
That could be part
lots of things you make.
The way you're bringing some of your theme in.
That's right.
Is how you tie off your napkin. Okay. What about
oh my goodness, there's so much, right?
Kind of the linen
I didn't even
category.
say. Okay, there's also placemats and charger, like placemats.
So now we're up a layer.
Another layer. Mm-hmm. That's one option. I've even seen, I guess that would be more in the dinnerware once we start getting into charger plates.
Well,
but
let's
charger plates are bigger than your dinner plate.
Right.
And they kind of are just really for accent.
Yeah, not to be eaten on.
And I see a lot of really cool ones where they're like, kind of sparkly, or...
I've got some red charger plates that I wish I had more of, actually, that I love pulling out at Christmas.
Yeah. I love and it brings in another color. So maybe, I'll get to... One of the things I was going to say is there's lots of ways you can modernize things that you maybe don't 100% love but want to use. Like if you have your grandmother's Old English china, so it's really important to you in your heart.
Might be the nicest thing you have that you're wanting
nicest thing you
to bring
have, out. But it feels a little old,
maybe not your style exactly.
Yeah, there's ways you can put a different charger plate under it, or bring in, let's say it has a little, maybe it's mostly brown. You could pull in some pink and gold or something that would blend with it.
And slightly overpower it to try and draw attention other places too.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so charger plates are one way you can do that. We even saw some really cool wooden ones.
So I would say for 2021, if you're wanting to be on theme for what we, or at least I saw in the stores.
Lots of wood. Woodland creatures at Christmas. And
we
all
saw wood
kinds
charger plates that were beautiful. And I continue to see olive wood cheese boards and charcuterie boards,
holders, and all kinds of fun.
And the salt, this little salt bowl for the table. I've seen lots of nice olive woods bowls. And
oh my gosh, there's so many. That's another thing I've seen recently that I really like. You mentioned the salt bowls. You know, in the days of old, we had one salt and pepper shaker on the table that's usually like kind of formal looking.
Yes.
But now you see just even like a little ramekin that has the salt or the pepper or both with a little spoon in it. And if you have a really big table, I think that's kind of a fun way to have them on each end.
That's true.
Or something.
And not have to go invest in more salt shakers.
Yeah. I don't know.
It feels more fresh, too, because your salt
cute.
can sit in a shaker for a long time.
That's true.
Really long time.
Fresh.
It is.
So, yeah, I wasn't even going to mention that, but since you brought that up, lots you can do with that. Dishware. Do we get to that next?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just so much to say. Dishware, meaning, or dinnerware, meaning all your dishes. Mm-hmm. What are you, color-wise wanting to use? I mean, I don't have a lot. I have some green and some white. And so.
Green, period, white, period. Like not green and white together.
Mine are just solids. I don't have any fine china or anything. So I like to kind of jazz up with the napkins or.
Yeah.
Bring in color with the flowers on the table or something, which we'll get to that.
And paper.
So
much
fun. Paper
has been given a major upgrade. Paper plates are no longer just for picnics anymore.
And they're no longer just Dixie, that brand or whatever. Hester and Cook has taken that to the way next level.
Yeah, that's probably the brand that we know the most and that I see the most in stores and boutiques is Hester and Cook. They have so many different themes of paper plates that you could go with. So I guarantee you they have something in your theme or your color that you could work with if you're wanting to go paper.
But yeah, just thinking through what dishes do you have? What do you have enough of?
And that could be a problem too. I'm glad you mentioned that. You may have 4 great plates that you love, but you've got 9. So
coming.
You need to just
pivot.
Do
you borrow? Or do you borrow?
Borrow. That's a good idea.
You could borrow somebody else that's coming. Hey, do you mind if I borrow some of your plates for the table?
That could actually be, now that I'm thinking about it, something kind of sneaky to divvy up to somebody that you didn't necessarily plan on them cooking anything.
Yes.
For whatever reason, I'm not saying they're a bad cook or that they don't know how to do your sweet potato casserole the way you like to do it.
But they have those pretty
They might have
plates.
something. Yeah.
And that would make them feel like they're pitching into.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah. So just figure out what all you want to use with your dishware and your flatware. Which also has come a long way. Mm-hmm. There's lots of even pretty flatware that's disposable. That's not plastic. I mean,
I know. It looks real.
It looks real.
It looks so real that I've had a party recently that
sturdy.
I ran out of the fake plastic cutlery, so I had to pull out my real, and I was like policing the trash can
throw it away.
to make sure that one of my real forks didn't get thrown away.
Yeah, because I think about, one of the reasons I've shied away from plastic flatware is because it breaks. But some of this is pretty sturdy.
Sure. Yeah.
So with flatware, I guess most of the flatware that you see is either silver or gold, like brass.
Silver and gold. Yes.
So one of the things I wanted to say is it's okay to mix metals too. Like people think about, my candle holders are brass, but my flatware is silver.
Yes.
So what should I do? It's okay to mix them up.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And there's ways to make that look even intentional.
Mm-hmm.
And mercury glass, I
love mercury glass so much.
I love mercury glass, and I feel like that it kind of like brings it all together.
Oh,
does
does
that
it
make
look
sense?
like it's a mix?
Because it's kind of like
It's
both.
silver and gold. You're right.
So just put a little mercury glass
That's super
votive in the
smart.
table or something like that, and that'll just blend it all.
I have mercury glass votives that I love for that very purpose.
Yeah.
It adds so much.
And I think they look kind of vintage, even though I know there's a lot of it in stores now.
They do.
But it looks vintage to me.
It does.
And I love Christmas stuff with mercury glass. I think that so
it just
pretty.
feels so right.
Okay, let's talk about bringing in nature. Be that flowers or
that's a good idea.
Something like that. I love to bring in nature. And for Thanksgiving, obviously you're thinking like little pumpkins and gourds and Indian corn.
There you go. That's a good one.
That kind of thing. Maybe pomegranates. I think those look really pretty for
Yes.
Thanksgiving.
That's the kind of fruit that I actually would buy just for decoration.
Totally just for show. It's
just
too much trouble to
so
try
much
to
trouble to cut into that. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they're so pretty. Anyhow, that kind of stuff is what I think of for Thanksgiving. And then Christmas, I just think of holly and cedar and pine cones and magnolia.
leaves.
Magnolia really for both, though. Magnolia can really be a good filler.
And pine cones for both.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Very true. Very wintry.
Exactly.
But there's so many directions you can go with bringing nature in and
Free. That's
for
free.
free. Or, if your neighbor, please ask. But, it's okay to ask to bring in some of their stuff if they're willing to let you.
Right.
If you're in Franklin and you need magnolias, I can help you out with that. Another thing I have mentioned on an episode in the past, but I think is worth saying here again, is when you're doing your tablescape and you're bringing in flowers, don't have anything too tall in between people who are going to want to talk. Like it's fine if you have all your desserts in one spot in a different room or on a particular area of the kitchen. Have something tall over there. But literally on the table, you don't want to block people's view of each other.
I think that's why tapered candles still show up in tablescapes, because they are technically
They're
thin enough
yeah.
that if I was talking to you across the table, it wouldn't be ideal to be talking to you with a tapered candle splitting your face.
But it's not that big of a deal.
But I
wouldn't barely move.
I would not get to talk to you
Yeah.
because of that. So, but I do like tapered candles, though. I don't want to give
I
them
do too.
any sort of.
And I love real candles. Like I know there's a lot of nice fake candles now. Like they've got the little.
See, that's good for, I think, in like a corner or even a bathroom. Well, no, I like a real candle in the bathroom.
Like a real candle.
I guess what I'm saying is anything that might be potentially
Right next to the wall where it's going to literally
hazard
catch on fire.
that you're wanting the ambiance, but you don't want to have to worry about it.
Yeah, that's
all
true.
Evening. Those can work, but yeah, a real candle makes such a difference. And as we mentioned, scattering votives around is
and that's another great,
so warm.
It is, and that's another great way to bring in some color. Let's say I mentioned, I have some green dishes and white dishes. If I wanted, to bring in like a coral or something, maybe I could get some little coral colored votives holders and then have that in the napkin or something.
Idea.
There's ways you can bring in color you don't have.
I like that
pretty
a lot.
cheaply.
I like that a lot.
Well, another thing I like to think about, for some reason, especially at Thanksgiving, I tend to think of it then more than any other time, is personalizing a table setting just so people feel really welcome.
Yeah.
And little name cards is one of the best ways.
So you can get really creative. You can do it yourself. There's different services that you can even have someone hand letter for you. There's so many people that are into hand lettering, custom hand lettering right now. So that would be something if you're thinking of this early enough that you could actually have somebody hand letter that. Hester & Cook has placemats that now they're letting you personalize.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So you have to do it before December 6th I think for any Christmas orders.
Okay.
But yeah, it could say the Cook family or
Merry Christmas from the Cook family.
The table runner could have personalized. They have they have a poinsettia placemat that they'll let you personalize and a Merry Christmas table runner. But since you mentioned name cards, I was going to say, I think this is also a place to bring in some fun, maybe even random little place, I don't know, figurines or ornaments or things that you might want to bring into the table. If you were, let's say thinking, I really want to bring these little ice skaters. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Into my table, but I don't really know where to put them. What if they were holding, or what if the name card was just kind of propped up against them?
That would be adorable.
We loved it in a store, boxwood greenery wreath.
Oh, yeah.
That was on the table. It wasn't necessarily holding a name card, but that was something that just kind of was outside of the box of what you typically would see on the plate, and could have held a name card. It could have been a nice parting gift for the guest to take with them.
That would be so cute, hanging in a kitchen.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of name card holders. I don't have any of those, but I've seen them. Different ones.
Yeah.
I even saw Pottery Barn had some that were so cute that lit up. They were like little houses, like little it wasn't a gingerbread house, but it was just a cute little glittery house.
And the name card goes on top?
And it has a slot that would hold it. And I thought, how cute would that be on a dark, dim table?
Yeah.
And the little name cards are lit up.
Well, I have a set that I got at a garage sale, but I've actually never used them as name cards because they're silver and it just looks like a clip. I've used them to label food on a buffet before, but I've actually never used them as name cards. So if you do a lot of entertaining, it might be worth investing in a real basic set.
Yeah.
That you could use
either
like I described.
Silver or just brass or whatever.
To label food or to use as place cards. I don't know. Could be fun.
Yeah.
I did want to mention one thing that I probably should have mentioned earlier on in the episode, and just acknowledging the heaviness of the last 18 to 24 months
of loss.
Wow, so with the holidays, November, December, I read 58% of Americans admit to feeling severely depressed and anxious during November and December. So
that's in general besides a pandemic.
Exactly. So I just wanted to acknowledge that we're trying to set a beautiful table and create joy in everything that we're describing. But the reality is that over half the population
are coming with a heavy heart.
And they're not coming with the party attitude.
Yeah.
So if there's been physical loss, someone's not at your table this year that everyone is feeling, I have heard time and time again in grief that one of the worst things that you can do is not speak of the person. Mm-hmm. So I'm just putting it out there. Would it be worth it to even have something on your table? I'm not even talking about like a full place setting for the missing person, but what if there was a little picture on the table, right? So not necessarily like creating a whole space for them, but just a little nod to the loss.
Yeah. And I just thought of another thing you could do.
But, probably doesn't feel like this is the right time to talk about it because it's Thanksgiving and we're supposed to be so thankful. The setting of the table and the spirit of what we're talking about is to invoke a warmness, but we don't want to ignore.
Yeah. And if you're gathering with family and it's literally a family loss, like it wasn't.
Right.
They're feeling it too.
Right.
So the acknowledgement could even be, I was just literally in this moment thinking, wouldn't it be sweet to say like, oh, we have, I wanted everybody to notice that that's Aunt Edna's butter dish.
Yeah.
And, or whatever.
Yeah.
The thing is that's on the table. And,
I don't think that's weird or morbid. No. I think you just give it a nod. Give it some time.
We use, Doris's sweet potato recipe just for this year because we miss her or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, there's ways you can bring it in and make it really sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, so just think about that too. I mean, I would definitely do it in as best you can, the most tasteful way. I wouldn't want to surprise a guest.
Where they're like now scooting their way out of the table to go cry in the bathroom.
Yeah. That lost, their father's pictures on the table and they weren't expecting that. Wouldn't want to do that either. So just navigating that, but again.
But acknowledging.
Okay, so let's make sure though that we do talk flowers. We touched on nature. That's going to be great. There's also the opportunity to either do a big centerpiece.
Yes.
Flowers throughout the rest of your home. So I simply love the surge in popularity that succulents have.
Oh.
It feels like they're popular right now. Maybe they've always been popular, but I feel like I see them a lot more. I even really love when people take a pumpkin, carve it out, like hollow it out, and put like all different succulents in it as a Thanksgiving or a fall centerpiece.
Yeah.
Or the little baby mini succulents
that you see just one little teeny one in a little
place
teeny
setting.
So cute.
Oh my gosh, that is precious and such a great parting gift if you're looking for something for people to take home.
That is a great idea. That's a great idea.
Not too expensive.
Yeah, I was gonna say about flowers. We mentioned like we like to try to at least use some of the stuff in the yard.
Yeah.
Herbs are great too for either part. Like rosemary is still nice and green.
So true.
Basil's long gone, but
Basil's
some
gone,
of the herbs are still.
Do you have any mint around still?
My mint, it's big in the summer.
Yeah, I know.
But if you are wanting specific flowers, like let's say, you just got to have the XYZ flower in your arrangement, you got to talk to a florist ahead. Like you can't just expect to show up on.
You're like, why don't y'all have
2 days
peonies?
Right. Like they got to have some
season.
Heads up. If you're, needing something really specific. So I just wanted to mention that in case somebody was working on something specific. But those oasis, like the green styrofoamy.
Oh, is that what that's called? That you stuff it into?
You soak.
Yes.
You get it nice and soaked, and then you can stick everything in it. You don't have to do that day of. You can do it a day or two before.
Where do you get those?
Like Michael's.
Okay, so craft stores.
Yeah, craft stores.
Okay.
And you do need to, once you do it, like it's got to stay pretty cool. So you might, if it's fresh flowers, it's going to need to go maybe in the fridge, or if you're lucky enough to have a wine cellar or something like that where it's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like getting something that's kind of low, but has a rim, where you can get one of those oasis, have some live things in it, and then just fill it with other stuff. Yeah. Like we were already mentioning, fruit or nuts or greenery from the yard or rosemary or whatever. Just fill it where it's overflowing. I love these dough bowls. Do you know what I'm talking about? I have one. Those low dough bowls. Yes. Those are great to
just lay. You couldn't put water in that, but you could just lay.
You could have an oasis at somewhere in it though, sitting in it. But anyway, just filling it with fun things for the season, be that ornaments or.
I saw that Home Depot has some cool looking wheat in there near the garden section. Yeah, just dried wheat, bunches of dried wheat. So that would be fun to lay in a dough bowl and just.
That could be laid flat, or if it's if you wanted it tall,
it's true.
Like you could put it near the over on
the
side,
corner,
near the bar, near the food area. It depends on what your spread is.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people think of poinsettias at Christmas time. And if you're a pet owner.
Yes, thank you for mentioning that.
You don't get to have those in and around. Yeah. So maybe, though, if it's a centerpiece, so it's not a poinsettia that's sitting in the corner, maybe you could take some out and put it in your arrangement, like you're saying, your low arrangement.
Yeah, or have it sitting on a bathroom, in the bathroom somewhere or something like that. That could work. And, I didn't mention this, but I love all things Scotland. So with the Christmas tartan plaids, that's my favorite. I mean, and I'll even mix and match those. Like, I just love all this tartan.
You'll mix and match plaids?
Yes.
That's hard to do and
Well,
pull off.
You got to have similar kind of colors,
Right.
but like there might be one that's, mostly a red and white, and this one's red and white and has some navy in it
Okay,
or something.
gotcha.
Like it's not
Yeah.
literal all over
Yeah.
the place with the
Yeah.
tartans. But
I like that.
anyway, that's one of my favorite Christmas looks right now. Sometimes we mentioned you can have multiple tables.
And we need to acknowledge that because you don't want to have one great table and then 2 card tables that are
Right.
just
and
people walking
and this
over
has
to.
plastic on it.
Or nothing. Like we literally just pulled these out of the garage. So if y'all could sit over here, and
that's
that
no
happens
fun.
even to adults. You don't have to
yeah.
be the kids' table
Right.
to be at a secondary table.
It could have its own theme even. I think that could be fun. Like if this, theme over here is more that we've got I'm using a Christmas. This one is more plaid and brass. Over here we have the this one is more black and white
Right.
and silver or something like that.
And if
Using what you have,
for a card table example, that's going to most comfortably seat 4. So maybe you're using those 4 plates we mentioned earlier that you love so much.
Right.
You don't have 8
and build
for.
off that thing.
So the 4 plates are going to the card table. They may even have the plates you like better than the ones at your main table. Who knows? So yeah, if you've just got a smaller quantity, that's actually a really great place.
And if you're doing a kid's table and they're truly little, you may not want your finest. You may want something that's got like paper that they could draw on, or
a craft turkey to make while they're sitting there.
Right.
Out of stickers or,
Google eyes.
felt cutouts and...
Maybe they have, that a lot of that construction paper, like the dark brown or the black, you can write on with chalk.
Oh, yeah.
So you could write Jacob,
Their name
or
for their,
whatever,
you
and
can personalize
draw a little
theirs.
fun turkey or something on there.
That's true.
Have a teenager do that. Give them something to do.
Yeah, you could make that fun. You could make like a nutcracker sort of theme. You could do
that would be so cute with different nutcrackers at different place settings or something.
Yeah.
A ballerina at a little girl's spot.
You could do like a peppermint theme. So I'm thinking of like...
Or gingerbread.
Like, kids love candy. So
Yes.
putting some extra little treats around for them. That could be fun.
That's adorable.
The secondary table sounds like
It
more
sounds
fun
way
than
fun.
the main table.
The possibilities are endless. But also, I think that one other thing I wanted to mention, because I've had to do this a lot with just awkward small spaces, is you can get TV trays that, pop up and put them really close to the table that have like your wine on it, or that have the bread. If like you're running out of space.
You're not getting up a lot.
And you don't have,
That's a good idea.
You can have some things close by.
You don't,
so that
you don't
people
have
can
a bar
just...
cart to wheel over, so you just make your own.
That's right.
I like that.
Do what you got to do.
That's really fun. Well, I think that gives a good...
I mean, if we've at least got your brain...
Layer by layer.
Your brain is stimulated on what you have, what you need to borrow.
Yeah. So...
Something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue.
Something tartan plaid. I like it. Well, we have just a couple of episodes left. This one and another one for this year for our podcast series.
And we're going to regroup and think about 2022.
But get ready, because next week is our annual gifts episode.
Whoop, whoop.
So we're very excited to share some Southern lifestyle gifts with you guys next week. So if you are needing inspiration, be on the lookout for that.
And if you're not already following us on Instagram, this would be a good week to do that, since we're doing Tablescapes. We'll have some pretty things to get your
lots of examples.
Your mind open to what you could do.
Yeah, I love it. All right. Y'all have a good week. Peace be with you.
And also with y'all.